Good afternoon, everyone. Today's topic is domestic abuse and, in particular, coercive control. Joining us today are Natalie and Karen from our Prevention and Support Service, and special guest Kerry, who's very kindly agreed to share some of her experiences in the hopes that her message will help someone out there in need of support pick up the phone.
Hi, Kerry.
Hi, you okay?
Hello. Yeah, fine, thanks. How are things with you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Lovely. So I've got a couple of questions for you. So my first one is, what did the coercive control, what does that look like when you're actually living in that situation?
To me, it was a very slow process in my relationship. Started very small things like encouraging me to step away from friendships, not allowing me to be on social media, slowly sort of taking me away from any support network that I had. And obviously this happens, there's very subtle changes over a long period of time. So by the time you sort of realise where you're at and what's really happening, you're quite a way down the line. So it's a very slow process. Just little levels of control, commenting on what I was wearing, commenting on. It became very apparent that he wasn't happy with me going out with friends. That was something that really caused an issue at home. So any kind of socialising really with anybody outside of our family unit.
Okay. When did you realise or decide that that the situation needed to change? Because some people might just ask, well, why didn't you just leave, or why didn't you leave sooner? What is the big thing that stops you from leaving? Is there one particular thing, or?
I think it's a build-up of time, and I think because it's done in a clever way, you've had a long time away from friends, you don't feel like you can talk to family, and it gets to the point where your only support really is your partner. And even though that's a negative place to be, that's what you end up with by the time you kind of realise that this is not okay and it's not healthy and it's not somewhere that you should be staying when you're being treated in a certain way. I also noticed my children's behaviour as well. I was starting to notice that they were talking and treating me in the way that I was being treated. That for me was a big no-no. It's one thing you being treated in a certain way, but then when you see it from your children, you see that it's a knock-on effect, and they're then taking over and displaying the same sort of levels of behaviour which were completely unacceptable. So that was a big turning point for me.
Okay, thank you, Kerry.
Okay.
Hi, Kerry.
Hello, Karen.
How did you get support?
I think by the time I came to wanting and needing support, by the time I realised that I actually needed it and kind of admitted the situation to myself, I think by that point it had got to a level where I was more concerned with mine and my family's happiness, as opposed to keeping somebody else's secrets or hiding what was happening to me, hiding it from people, which I'd done for a very long period of time. So by that point the scales had tipped, and sort of my happiness and my family's happiness was a lot more important than the negative aspect. So I really had to get some strength. I really had to dig deep and turn the situation on its head. And I thought, now is the time I need to speak to people. I need to talk to trusted friends. I was lucky enough that I had trusted friends. And I did feel I could speak to my health visitor as well, which a lot of people might not feel that you can, but you have to remember that it is completely confidential. And that is it is good to go to professionals for advice, because they're the people that are in the right position to help you and give you techniques or give you advice. But that's scary, and that takes an awful lot of strength. But when you do it and you realise what's happening around you is not okay, it's the best thing that you will do for yourself and your family, by taking a step forward, no matter what it is, whether it's a small step or a big step. But whatever you do in the right direction, it takes a lot of strength, but when you do it, it is the best thing you will do for yourself and your family.
Okay, thanks. And what's life like for you now, Kerry?
Freedom. as awful as it is, the first morning that I woke up on my own with my family at home and he wasn't there, even now it still feels quite sad to say, but I woke up peaceful. I woke up without that knot in the bottom of my stomach, that pit, that feeling that the pit of your stomach was gone, even from that very first morning waking up. And I instantly knew, believe me, I'm 7 years on and it's not an easy road, but it was absolutely the right thing to do. I feel peaceful, I feel free, there's no rules put upon me, I'm just doing my best as a mum, and it's a really nice place to be, really nice place to be, to finally feel that nobody is controlling me any longer. You know, I can live my life as long as I'm doing right by my family. The rest of what I do is up to me, and that is a really wonderful feeling.
Thank you very much, Carrie.
No problem.
Kerry, thanks so much for joining us today. I know you've written a poem, haven't you, about your experience and in particular about your journey and where you are now. Would you mind reading it out for us?
No, that's fine. So I wrote a poem and it's called Strength Becomes Her. And I'll read it out to you now. His key turned in the door, my stomach did a loop. No fear but dread became me, I knew how it would be. I looked into his eyes, they spelled lies and deceit. He never could hide his true feelings, they were written all around. I saw the truth inside through the windows to his soul. I looked over at my babies, what can I do to help? We sit around the table, the children eating dinner. No happiness inside him, more like a prison sentence it looked. Nicer memories my family deserved, a calmer loving home. I took myself away from this and my heart begins to grow. All pain and anxiety leaves me, a new future begins for us. Believe me, it was a struggle, but more laughter can be heard. We go to sleep in calmness and wake with hope and a smile. Don't ever believe this is forever. Take yourself where you need to be. You can create a loving family and children who laugh every day. That's it.
Thanks so much, Kerry. It's really appreciated.
Thank you.
So if you require support or you're concerned about someone that's experiencing cohesive control or any form of abuse within the home, you can call the Live Fear Free helpline on 08 08 80 10 800. You can call, text, use the live chat or email them for support.